Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another episode of Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance and I'm here at CMON Expo 2017 and I'm here with Thiago and we're going to talk a little bit about the new Zombicide Black Plague, Green Hordes, and what to kind of expect from that. So Thiago, what is this new awesome game for Zombicide?
Well, we're continuing Zombicide in the Black Plague area, which is the fantasy medieval version of Zombicide. Was a huge hit. I think it brought even more people into Zombicide. Kind of opened up to people who were more into RPGs and all that. They really liked that new iteration of the franchise. So we're doing another one, kind of expanding the lore, expanding the gameplay of Zombicide Black Plague with Zombicide Green Horde. It's going to be a standalone box. You can get introduced to the universe with that box, but it's also fully compatible with Black Plague and all the expansions we had for Black Plague in the previously started on retail, and just adding more variety, new twists, new challenges for players to find out in Zombicide.
Okay. So how do some of the new enemy types work in this? Because obviously now it's all about the orcs and goblin kind of, and they're undead, I would assume?
Yeah, it's the Green Horde, it is Zombicide, so it's undead orcs and goblins and all that. So Zombicide, we always need to be careful to keep the core intact. So we don't want to go too crazy, too complex. So basically in this game you have orc zombies, and the main difference with them is that they are just very, very strong. So while a normal walker, when it actually bites you, it deals one damage. An orc walker will do 2 damage. An orc fatty would do 3 damage in one go. So you need to be even more careful about those guys. And meanwhile, the runners in the Green Horde, they are actually goblins. So they still only deal 1 damage. But they are fast and they have 2 actions and all that. So it kind of it plays around with the expectations from players who are used to with Zombicide, because you're not quite sure where the real threat comes from. Is it from the guy who's fast or the guy who's just going to hit you real hard? Knock Abomination, of course, it's a terrible thing to run into. Orc Necromancers bringing more guys into the board. And then we have the one of the biggest new twists of this new core box, which is the horde aspect of it. Because orcs, they're swarming the countryside, so we have this mechanic where whenever you spawn a card, like if you spawn, say, 5 orc walkers, you get an extra orc walker and leave it next to the board in a little horde area. And then you spawn some runners, add a runner to that. You spawn some walkers, add a walker to that. And so you keep adding these guys and they're just slowly piling up outside the board, and you see that threat growing, looming in the horizon. And then eventually you will draw a Enter the Horde card. You just grab that pile of awful plastic and just plump it in a zone. But mercifully that ends the spawn phase for that turn. So, but you will have something very tough to deal with in that horde that's going to be walking around the board and causing havoc. But it also brings some other ways to deal with the horde. You have one of the again, I think this is the coolest thing for me, which is the addition of a catapult to the game.
Oh wow, that is awesome!
So you have this catapult, which will actually be a miniature, a 3D miniature.
Nice.
That you can kind of lug around the board. It takes a lot of actions to actually move it around and fire it. But it can be really devastating because you can fire anywhere on the board. If you actually can see where you're firing, you get a little bonus. And you can actually choose between some types of ammunition depending on what you want to try and accomplish. Because if you want to just try to kill one big Betty, you put a boulder on it and fire it at him, and there's a big chance of missing, but it will do a lot of damage. Otherwise, you do like a Scattershot that's just going to try and wipe out a big mob of weaker guys. So it adds a new element of strategy and who will man this? Are we going to carry this around, or are we just going to let it behind? And if you stay behind firing a catapult, very soon you'll be surrounded by zombies. So it's a really tricky decision.
Very nice. So with this one, what kind of tiles should we expect? Is it still going to be in a town, or is there any chance that we might see like some forest tiles or something like that?
It's somewhere in between. Like going full forest would be a bit weird for some time, because you need to have the whole search aspect and all that bit of the urban thing, but we are more it's in the outskirts of the kingdom. Okay. It's in the western borders. So it's a village that's encroaching on crops and kind of little rivers and all that. So you have a bit more wildlife. You have some hedges that divide zones, which is interesting because a hedge is an obstacle that you can walk through, but you cannot see through. Okay. So it creates it's an interesting game of hide and seek because like the zombies, they will walk around kind of aimlessly, and when you cross a hedge and no one knows what's on the other side, there might actually be a zombie there. You might actually draw a zombie there because no one was seeing what was on the other side. Okay. That's just a surprise there. So it's always dangerous to cross a hedge, but it's always very useful because you can fool zombies and all that, do a little hide and seek. Neat. And there's also some water holes, some flooded areas that slow you down. But they have some steep ledges that zombies can't walk out of. Okay. So sometimes it slows you down, but then when you get out, the zombies will have to go around to get you. So there's all these ways to kind of try to divert the orcs and try to play off of how dumb they are and how smart you're supposed to be. Okay. So you have some more terrain elements that'll actually add some depth to the game on top of everything else. Add more strategy, more trying to figure out what's the best course of action if you actually attract them there. Because I think this is the most fun aspect of Zombicide is using the noise mechanic to try and, okay guys, if you go over there and you make noise, they're going to be stuck on this water hole, and then we can go all the way around and try playing cooperatively to accomplish all these things. Okay. And with this new version of Zombicide, I know you can't get too much into the Kickstarter, but do you think we'll be seeing more of the other races as heroes now? I mean, because obviously the first Zombicide, you guys had a couple, here and there, but most of them were human survivors. So do you think we might be seeing more like other races and things like that, more fantasy type stuff, or is that just not a Zombicide type thing? It is a little bit, of course. Okay. The focus is a human kingdom and all that. That's the focus. But yeah, just trying to think off the top of my head, I think we do have some new races that you haven't seen before in Black Plague. Okay. We had a lot of fun just making up the new survivors and other challenges you're going to face in this game. We opened up to the whole office, like, what would you like to see in Black Plague? What kind of cool thing, what kind of cool trope we could explore? Okay. So everybody pitched in, and this is actually something that could lead somewhere. It was a very nice collaborative effort of everybody trying to what do you want to see there? Very cool. So other than that, I know that like last year you guys kind of talked about with Massive Darkness that there was a little bit of crossover that you could use some of the Zombicide stuff in Massive Darkness and the tiles and stuff. Is it going to go the other way? Are you going to be able to use some of the Massive Darkness stuff in some of the Zombicide? Because obviously they're both fantasy themed settings, and it would be kind of neat to see some of that potential for crossover. That has become a bit of it's a big opportunity and a big challenge. Yeah. When you have both of these games that they do have some DNA that they share. So you're always tempted to let's make everything cross-compatible and everything's a crossover. But we do need to take care of the game itself, because if you just throw everything from one on the other, everything from one on the other, for one, it's a lot of work. Absolutely. And too much work may lead to unbalanced things and just thinning down the whole experience. So this is something we're considering very carefully. Okay. I can't really tell where we're going to land on this, but don't expect, they are not the same game. Don't expect everything to be on the other game, and everything that comes out for one is available for the other. They have to grow in their own separate ways. Sure. One other question that I would be personally interested in, and obviously with Zombicide being in a fantasy setting and that, is there any talk or hinting at any possibility of seeing like a zombie dragon or anything like that in the future of Zombicide? Well, there were many suggestions made in the first Black Plague. Not only dragons, other things that people have been requested for during that whole month of mayhem. And we listened to a few of them. Okay. And some of them might become a reality in Green Horde. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. And as you guys know, be looking for that Kickstarter at the very end of May, and I'm sure it's going to be another huge success. I can't wait to get in on it myself. I love Zombicide, and I love what you guys are doing with the fantasy side of it. So this is going to be really exciting. Okay, see you all May 30th, 3 p.m. EST. Thank you. See you guys later. Bye.